Yo, hey, this shit easy, nigga. Hey, all I'm talking about, nigga, I'm still out here trying to get it.
Contender Regime Boxing, checking back in with y'all, man. What's good? What's happening? So, had to chime back in with y'all, man, and I want to discuss Jaron Boots Ennis, his performance versus Karen Chukajan. Y'all saw the immediate post-fight reaction. Also, what I think this does for him going forward in his career, and how that performance opened up other options for Jaron Boots Ennis. If you look at the way everybody had their views and perspectives pinned on Jaron Boots Ennis, myself included, and I still think Jaron Boots Ennis is an incredible talent, phenomenal athlete. I think he's a very gifted fighter, dedicated to the sport, dedicated to his craft, come up around a great, an abundance of knowledge, boxing IQ and boxing knowledge in his family. His brothers were fighters. His father is a phenomenal trainer. So he has a certain level of pedigree that a lot of guys don't have automatically coming into the game. So that puts Boots, that kind of lifts him up and gives him a head start on your average fighter. Again, you couple that with the intangibles, the abilities that you're just born with. And then also, you look at the size at welterweight. I think he's one of the biggest welterweights in the sport. He's going to be physically one of the more stronger guys. And, he's just going to have certain dimensions that give him kind of a leg up on the competition. Now, certain things that would separate other guys from him, and that's at this point is really the ring experience and the experience on the elite level. And I think you saw that in his performance versus Chukajan. Everybody, that was the first time Jaron Boots Ennis has ever went past 6 rounds. So that was another big thing for him. I think that was actually good that he was able to get past the 6th round and go 12, so he can see what that feels like. So he could see, what his gas tank is like when he gets to the later rounds. Is he still, vibrant and in shape and ready to go? I actually think that was a good thing for him to get that experience. You kind of you don't want to wait until you get in a fight with the Earl Spence or a Terrence Crawford or a Keith Thurman and realizing that, hey, when I get in the 10th and 11th round, that left hook don't come with as much steam as I thought it would, or my legs don't feel the same when I get in the championship rounds. I'm not able to move the way I want to, whether it be coming forward and cutting off the ring, or whether it be boxing off of the back foot and evading and setting up traps. So I think that was good for Jaron Boots Ennis. It was good for him to fight a guy like Chukajan, who had great foot movement. Chukajan had excellent footwork. Excellent. It was special, which was the word that I used on Saturday night. Special footwork. I mean, this guy reminded me a little bit of Dimitri Bivol, but less offense. He was more defense. And I mean, he was just, moving, the lateral movement, the ability to evade by the tiniest margin and still be able, and when he did decide to throw counter shots, he was getting some really good counter shots off on Jaron Boots Ennis, man, and he just didn't have enough output and enough power to really make it stick. He had about a 50% knockout ratio. He wasn't I told you, I looked at his film, and as far as what I already knew about him, he just wasn't a super offensive fighter. He was more defense first, but I was impressed. I was impressed by his movement. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people call it running, but what we gonna get to is, I tell y'all all the time, and I get on these other fighters that's normally not Black American fighters, because they're the ones who be claiming that shit all the time. Like, it ain't not trying to single nobody out, but a lot of times it be these Latino and Mexican fighters that be claiming that a guy is running just because they lack the ability, the athleticism, or the technique, because it's more than just athletic ability to be able to cut the ring off. There's a technique and a nuance that go with that, small details and subtle movements that allow a fighter like Earl Spence, like Triple G, to be able to cut the ring off. You dig what I'm saying? So, and that's what Jaron Ennis lacked. So I'm not gonna give him a pass on that because these other guys, I get on their ass too. You know what I'm saying? You can't say a dude is running and your ass can't cut the ring off. Dude didn't turn his back and take off running. He was using good ass boxing foot movement. You know what I'm saying? Good ring generalship. That's what he was using. It's up to Jaron Ennis to be able to cut that, to slow that down. One of the things that he could have did was stay more consistent with the jab, which he didn't do. He came out early popping it, but he didn't stay consistent with it. And he wasn't using the jab to the body enough. I thought he could have started going to the body earlier and more consistently. He didn't do that. All those things in combination, which is the things that you see the best fighters in the sport that are, when it comes to cutting the ring off, like Earl Spence and Triple G, that's what they do. They got a great jab and they got good sidestep movements. They not following fighters around. They cutting them off. You know what I'm saying? You don't follow. Boots was following dude around the ring. You don't do that. You sidestep and you use your jab to slow their ass down and you go to the body. The jab is gonna slow them down so you can get close to him and lean on him and get those body shots off on him. So when it comes down to the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th round, motherfuckers ain't moving like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's where Jaron Ennis lacks. So that's another thing that he got to work on. Defense, just being sharper. He got, like I said, great athletic ability, good head movement, but he just got a lot of things that he got to work on and just be more focused on the fight. I know he wanted to put on a show. It was his first pay-per-view outing. He wanted to get a knockout. He wanted to put on a phenomenal performance. So he was, he was trying to show out, and that's cool. That you got to be a showman, but the in-the-ring activities come first before the showmanship. So all that being said, Jaron Ennis looked less superhuman on Saturday night. He looked less superhuman. He looked, I'm not going to say that he was exposed because that's not the case. I'm not going to say he's overhyped because that's not the case. That's an opinion. But I think he looked less superhuman, and which is why you see in the title, this is why his options are going to open up. Jaron Ennis was having a very hard time finding a fight versus an elite caliber guy or somebody that's worthy. Well, he's going to get more options now because people see that this kid is a great athlete, but he's not as far along as maybe people have claimed that he is. You know what I'm saying? Now, I think him having a great team that he has, they're going to go back and work on these things. So he's going to come back better. But I would love to see Jaron Ennis versus a Keith Thurman. I think Keith Thurman is more interested in that fight now. You know what I'm saying? I think Keith Thurman is more interested in that fight. I think Terrence Crawford is more interested in that fight now. I think Virgil Ortiz, who was claiming that they want to do that fight down the line, I think they more interested in that fight now. You know what I'm saying? I think Earl Spence, who already said that he wouldn't mind fighting Jaron Ennis, it just got to make sense. I think he looking at that fight like, okay, when we get to 154, you better have that shit in order or else I'm going to get on your ass. You feel what I'm saying? So I think this is a great opportunity for Jaron Ennis. Also, I wouldn't mind seeing Ennis versus Rashidi Ellis, or I wouldn't mind seeing him versus the guy that just beat Rashidi Ellis, Romain Villa. You know what I'm saying? Romain Villa, that's a good fight. A guy that's gonna come forward, who ain't gonna, make you chase him. He got power in both hands. That's a good stylistic matchup for Boots. And, it's two winners coming off of their last victories. I think that'll be a good match for him. There's going to be way more opportunities for Jaron Ennis now that he looked less superhuman than he normally does. And that's a good thing for Boots because now you got options. You can pick and choose. You can match make a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? And you want to try to fight a guy like Villa to see if you can take elite. I ain't even going to call him elite, but he got power. So see if you can take power on this level versus, somebody who can maybe hit just as hard as you or harder. Fight a guy like Rashidi Ellis or Keith Thurman who got movement and good counterpunching ability. See if you have improved your technique as far as cutting off the ring. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe get in there with a guy like Terrence Crawford if that fight presents itself, or Earl Spence, who are the elite of the elite, and see if you can stump with the big dogs. He got options now. And I think it's just going to come down to Boots and his team sitting down, looking at film, and kind of determining what they want to work on next. You know what I'm saying? Where they want to take his career next. I don't think there's no reason to panic. Nothing like that. You know, he won the fight clear and you know, clear. It was no type of controversy on who won that fight. But I think there was a lot of things, opportunities. I'm not going to say he was exposed. I'm not going to say deficiencies. There's a lot of opportunities for Jaron Boots Ennis to work on and get better at his craft. So y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. What do y'all think is next for Boots? Should he still be forcefully going after the Earl Spencers and the Terrence Crawfords? Or should he try to get a Keith Thurman fight? What fight do you think makes the most sense? Should he go out? Should he focus his attention on another contender, somebody with a skill set that could help him improve, maybe give him a different look? You know what I'm saying? Practice on those things that naysayers might view, or critics, and rightfully so. There's constructive criticism, you know, things that people may view as deficiencies that he should work on. Or should he just go ahead and go straight to the top? Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments, man. Contender regime boxing. I'll holler at y'all boys, man.